Welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Matrix. And again, I'm focusing this time on just one singular building. This, according to the official narrative, was built in 1901 and it was the Pars Bank and is in use today by the Ipswich Building Society. Now, it says in the official narrative about it being restored. It's a bit of a funny restoration because you have, let's try and get the pencil to point in the right place. You've got these panels and it looks to have a smoothed off, almost by hand, rendering, and there is clearly an inscription underneath these panels. So it begs the question, surely it would say Pars on these panels, but in this restoration they've somehow forgotten to uncover that bit. And then this lavish antiquitech on the top, this beautiful dome, and then this antenna, and these replicating a church. I have another view of this from looking across from the upper level of the Corn Exchange. This building is on the corner to the right of it. The other side of the street is the Corn Exchange, which is at the back of the town hall. So we'll just move on to the next photo in the sequence. Now this is the below the street level. It's nowhere near as deep as the lower levels of the Corn Exchange on the opposite side of the road, but this is what we're shown. Now they have a floor safety box which they say they cannot find where it went. Well, I would suggest, if this picture will open up, and no, it's going to be playing silly buggers. We'll come back to that in a minute, hopefully. So we'll just go on to the antiquitech. Now this is a close-up of that turret on that corner, and you'll notice just below that these like 4 half circles, very much like churches and many other buildings. And somehow this does not look like something that was built in 1901, and certainly if I was at that time of using that bank, I would be saying, oh, is that what you're spending all my money on? Because this is just excessive for something that is supposed to just be a bank built in 1901. It's ridiculous what they try and expect us to believe. Now opposite, I'm going to give you a couple of photos, some close-up detail. This is the Corn Exchange. I mean, this Greco-Roman style, it's a market building basically. So you go to all this trouble of putting these beautiful features in. I mean, you can see the sheer scale of it with this person walking past, how big it is, and the lavish, no expense spared. I mean, we're not talking in the era of slavery. There's another picture here. We're not talking in the era of slavery. We're in the era of paid workers, and they can spend all this money on all this that it just doesn't make any sense at all. Now we've lost a photo somewhere. Gone back to the previous one, which I showed on the previous video. No, it's still not going to open up. But what I was going to suggest, I'll go. Oh, it's there now. That's typical, isn't it? This floor is far nearer, so if they want to find where that safety box floor safe went, it must be under there. But this is just this narrative. We're told that it's the safe is below ground level. Yes, it has been in use as a bank, but what about before that? Because this doesn't look like something you would need for a bank at all. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, and no one can explain anything about this. They just take it as, oh, that's normal, which Yes, it is normal when you look at some of these old buildings. This lavish detail right round the top, and the symmetrical patterns, and there's this beautiful brickwork and things, um, beautifully laid out. But there's definitely lower levels to all of these buildings, and they have come up with a fake narrative and covered so much up. And I would love to see what actually is behind these panels. There's a lady in there who said she used to live, I think, with her grandparents. I think they rent, if I remember rightly, they rented this, or possibly up here, I suppose, attic living accommodation. 55 steps. Now she said behind the wall where this window is, there's a set of stairs which have been blanked off. So again, that's not exactly a restoration if you're not going to restore all the original features and keep some of them blanked off. Presumably there would have been a door there at one time. I may have to have another look at this building, because it's surprising all these little details that show up more and more the closer you look at these things and compare them with to what we're being told. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyway, I shall leave that video there, just a short follow up to the previous one. I will do a few more on these just to give more of a general impression locally of what is being shown by so many other truth-seeking channels, that we have been lied to about history, and if they can lie about that. And also, I've noticed in the United States it did the rounds on social media, the weather reporter making out he's standing in a hurricane, and then caught out by two teenagers just walking normally behind him. And if they can lie about history and they can lie about the weather, it does beg the question of what else have they really lied to us about? For example, where did those 18.5 million skulls and thigh bones come from that are now in the catacombs of Paris? And it also begs the question of who stacked them so neatly and why.